This practice is for those of you who wake up slowly. That means that in the morning when you wake up, perhaps you didn't feel rested, you don't feel like you got a solid night's sleep, your Kapha dosha is a little bit heavier, and you aren't really ready for a big yoga practice. Feel like you need a little on-ramp into the day, and you may want to actually have something restorative, but also active, something that wakes up the subtle body and the musculoskeletal body, circulation, innervation, all those things. So this practice is for you. As you go through the practice, if you find yourself having questions or comments, don't forget you can always leave those down below the video during or at the end of the practice. If the practice is helpful to you, please do click the like button. That helps me to know, gives me some feedback. And if you've not yet subscribed to the channel, please do that now before we start the practice. Okay, let's join together up for the practice. Now, for those of you who are awake, we're going to do the next kind of practice, and this is for people who they're not particularly slow wakers, and because of that, they don't want to start lying down on the floor in the morning. Okay, so for this yoga practice, we're going to be starting in a seated position, looking also at the process of Vata becomes Kapha season. So with Vata dosha, one of the things that happens is the mind flies up and out very easily. So we want to use practices and poses that keep bringing us back down into this seat here. But Kapha dosha can get kind of lethargic and, kind of like an Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. And meanwhile, Vata's like, Tigger, 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 right? And by the way, Pooh Bear is a very Kapha loving, the embodiment of the nourishing, joyful nature of Kapha dosha. And Piglet is his little companion, and he's like the embodiment of the sweetness, the curiosity of the Vata dosha. Right. So it's not that these are, no dosha is a bad dosha. They're all blessings. They all have their wonderful qualities and then the susceptibilities. So this practice, you're going to see that we'll stay coming back into the pelvis, and we're going to stay grounded in the beginning of the practice. And then we'll bloom a little bit, and then we're going to come back to getting grounded. So let's start by taking a seat on facing the short side of your yoga. And cross your ankles into the pose called Sukhasana. Sukha means ease, so Sukhasana, like this. Okay, wrap your hands over your knees, and as you inhale, raise up like you're doing cow pose, a little bit of a back bend here. And then exhale, come down into cat pose. That's where you're returning into the lower belly. Inhale, press your hands on your knees, roll forward and up, and then lean back. And exhale, come down into cat pose. So we inhale to roll forward, and you roll over the sitting bones. That's important. And then rise up, open the heart, lean back a little bit. And then exhale, and as you roll down, roll back behind your sitting bones. And do that one more time. Roll forward and up. Lean back with the upper body. And exhale, curl down and in, roll behind your sitting bones. Rise up to the center of the sitting bones now. Cross your left hand over your right knee. Take your right hand behind you. Use your fingertips on the floor, particularly if you have shorter arms like I do. Use your fingertips, but also use the fingertips because I want you to have a sense of, you can really move the right shoulder back, lift up through your heart. When you're holding here, hold as firmly as you can and press your right knee down. So you have to pull up with the torso. Lift up through the crown of your skull. So it's not just that it's a twist, you're also really elongating the spine while both sitting bones stay grounded. Breathe in. As you exhale, squeeze into the lower belly. So there's a return. As you inhale, rise through the spine. As you exhale, squeeze into the lower belly. Good. Okay, come around to center. And And then cross your right hand over your left knee, reach to the outside of your thigh so you have a firm hold. Left fingertips behind, lift up through the heart. Press your left knee down to make the right arm more taut. So as you exhale, squeeze into the lower belly. Let's call that the return to the pelvis. As you inhale, raise up through the spine. So the exhale is, we can say, returning Vata dosha to its place in the pelvis. And the inhale is to lift Kapha dosha from lethargy up into blooming, the quality of rising. And then exhale, come around to face forward. You bend your knees, place your feet flat on the floor, keeping the knees bent. Walk your right hand around behind. Press into your fingertips. Open the upper chest and heart. Inhale, raise your left arm. And then exhale, twist. Okay, as you twist here, place your left arm across your right knee. Keep both sitting bones grounded. That's an important quality. And then rise up through the spine. Press into your right fingertips for support. And on the exhale, do your due diligence to squeeze the lower belly. The left arm and the right knee can press against each other during that squeeze. Okay, now let's take the right hand and make it flat on the floor. Roll your right shoulder back. And as you roll it back, think of setting the shoulder back in line with the middle finger on your hand. And then raise your left arm. Press into both feet, lift your hips, press into your right arm. The torso is a little bit sideways, yep. Reach the left arm past your left ear. And then exhale, keep the right shoulder back as you lower your hips down. Touch the sitting bones. Return to your twist. And then come around to face forward. Okay, now forward is symmetrical. The poses are all asymmetrical. Walk the left hand behind you. Come up to your fingertips. Inhale, raise your right arm. Roll the left shoulder back and take your right elbow across your left knee for twisting. So as you're rotating, you want to keep the sitting bones, the feet, the knees are pretty stable. And then you're churning the lower belly to the left. Place the left palm flat down. Roll your left shoulder open. The left shoulder should be broadening out from the left collarbone. Raise your right arm up towards the ceiling. Press into both heels. Raise your hips. Reach the right arm past your right ear. The torso is a little bit rotated here, so you're gazing sideways or down towards the floor. And breathe in. And keeping the left shoulder stable as you exhale, lower your hips down. Return to your twist. Come up to your fingertips. And then rotate around to face forward. Again, that's symmetrical. Notice how things are feeling. Okay, while you're sitting facing forward, take both hands behind you. This time the fingertips are going to point towards the hips. And I'd like you to take the fingerprints, thumbprints, knuckles, heels of the hands, bend your elbows. Scoot the hips forward, whatever amount your shoulder flexibility allows for. Okay, so this is a rounded position for the spine, but the shoulders are going to slide back. So even though the torso is in flexion, squeeze the shoulders back. So you're getting a little opening to the shoulder capsule on the front. Put the knees together, shins together, ankles together. And then exhale, roll both knees over to your right. You're likely to straighten the left arm as you do that. Then inhale, straighten the right arm. And exhale, bend the right elbow, roll back. You're going to bend the left elbow too. And then both knees over to your left. The right arm begins to straighten, then straighten the left arm. And then exhale, roll. So you're going to round the spine to come back. And go to the other side. And left arm straightens before the right arm straightens. And then exhale. And so the right arm straightens before the left arm does. And for those of you who find that keeping your feet on the floor is wonderful and nourishing, but you'd like a little bit more challenge, pick up the knees. So when we go down, the right arm bends before the left arm, roll across. And here, the knees touch down, the right arm straightens before the left arm does. Let's do it one more time. You're probably migrating on your mat a little bit. Maybe your hips are getting closer to your hands with every rotation. And so come back to center. And up to sitting, like I got a curl in my mat there. Okay, and see how things are feeling. Listen into your body. Listen for your versions of Pooh Bear and Piglet. And if your Eeyore is there, listen for that too. You can kind of pat him on the head. If your Tigger is there, you might want to pull on the tail and bring him down for a little bit. Okay, now we're going to put a few yoga poses together here. So I'd like you to bend the knees to start and consider this to be a sequence of creativity and movement, and you can improvise on it. And also, in terms of working through it, always check the stability first, right? I was saying that earlier, like the stability and then the blooming. So check the stability of your foundation before taking the next movement in the sequence. So from here, take the right fingertips behind you. Raise your left arm. Twist again, that's familiar, right? Twist to your right. Good. Place the right palm flat and it to the back side of your mat. Okay, press down through your right hand, right arm, right shoulder. Roll the right shoulder back. Inhale, lift. Press into both feet. And then exhale, bring your left arm across your body. Look down at your yoga mat. Pivot your feet and come into this kind of different shape for downward dog pose. Press through both arms, but of course your right arm is going to be more weight bearing than your left arm. Raise your hips high. Perhaps the back of your left heel is going to find the floor. Maybe your right foot, the whole foot could find the floor. As you exhale, begin to unwind from there. So you're going to pivot through the feet and return. This is called Ekahasta, one arm, Purvottanasana. And Purvottanasana means intense east side stretch. It's awakening the front side of the body. And that's called the east side. Go ahead and come down because we face to the east, which I'm actually doing. This is east. We face to the east in the morning for the yoga practice to greet the sunrise. So the front of your body is the east side. Now let's bring that back around to take a seat. Now we'll do the other side. Walk the left fingertips behind you. Raise your right arm. So you're greeting the sun. It would be right there if I didn't have a door and a house to block it. And then cross your right arm. Let's place the left palm down. Check the stability of your left arm and shoulder. Roll the left shoulder back. Scoot your hips up. Reach through the right arm. And keeping the left arm really strong and stable, begin to look down at the floor near to the edge of your mat. Bring your right arm across your face. Pivot your feet. And reach into this funny shape for downward dog pose. Yes, it's asymmetrical. And you might be also asymmetrical side to side as you do it. Adjust your feet as you need to, so it's your pose. And something I like to do is to rock the hips a little bit, because the side stretch in this case for the right side is delicious, but also the strength of the left arm to keep the hips centered is a good exploration. Okay, and then we're going to pivot. So rotate on your toes and heels and return to Ekahasta Purvottanasana. And then keeping the left arm stable, lower your hips down, return to your twist on the left fingertips. And then rotate around to face forward. Okay, I'm just checking that you're still with me. Okay. And we'll do one more thing in that sequence. So as I was saying, we come back down. Every time we touch the sitting bones down, that's an important, there's marma points there, important for grounding the vata dosha, that you're on your sitting bones. That's why we rolled back and forth over the sitting bones with the cat-cow spine in Sukhasana. It's not just because it feels good, there's also other purposes for the movements. Okay, so let's do the sequence now. Raise the left arm, put your right fingertips behind you. Breathe in. Exhale, twist to your right. Place the right palm flat, roll the shoulder open. So this is already an open chest. Press down into both hips. Both feet. Lift your hips. Reach. Okay, and then rotate. Rotate your feet. Reach for the floor. Downward dog pose. Now press firmly into your left arm and your left foot. And step your right foot under. Reach it across, so it's going to be off to the side of your mat. And then rotate to your outer left foot. Your foot's going to become parallel to the floor. And come into this variation of side plank pose on the left arm. And then bring the right hand down to the floor. Okay, pivot your left heel backward, step the right foot under again, so you just cross the legs again. And then rotate to the right arm for side plank pose. Okay, and then I'm going to ask you to touch the left hand down and rotate to plank pose. So step your feet to plank pose. Reach back to your regular downward dog pose. Walk your feet halfway forward, walk your hands halfway back, come to Uttanasana. And then take a seat, cross the ankles, come down to your seat. So you're facing to the west now, right? We turned it around. You will end up facing east, don't worry. So that was one side of the sequence. Notice how things feel. If you have concerns about getting lost, don't worry. Yoga won't mind. If you make something up, if you're improvising, if your body has a feeling to go somewhere, it's not perhaps called getting lost. It might be called improvising. Okay, so bend both knees. Take your left hand behind you. Raise your right arm. Exhale, twist left. Place the left palm down, stabilize your left shoulder. Scoot your hips up. Okay, reach through the right arm. Look down. Notice where your hand is going to go. Rotate your feet. Reach back to dog pose. Yes, and sometimes you can waver the hips side to side as we did last time, if you'd like. Now I'm going to ask you to take notice what's to the left of your yoga mat. Pick up your left foot and step it out there where the alligators are. Rotate to the outside edge of your right heel, right outer foot, right pinky, and come to side plank pose. And then exhale, bring the left hand down. Pivot on your right foot, step the left foot under. And now rotate to the inside edge of your right foot, the outside edge of your left foot, into this version of side plank pose. And then follow your exhale. Touch the right hand down and step into downward facing dog pose, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And in downward dog pose, it is not essential that your head reaches the floor. More important that you're lengthening your spine and keeping stability in your shoulders. And now let's inhale forward to plank. Exhale to chaturanga. Touch the hips down, please point the toes. And inhale to cobra. And then exhale, roll down. Table pose, child's pose, balasana. Take the arms back near to your feet in balasana. It's comfortable to do so. You can rest your hands on the small of your back, so one hand holds the wrist of the other. And then rise up to kneeling, up to Vajrasana. And notice in Vajrasana, we sit on the sitting bones. And so that is also a time where we ask the Vata dosha to get grounded. Yes, please take a blanket and come into Shavasana. So to make Shavasana possible, but not sluggish, what we're going to do is we will take the knees to the chest on the back for a few moments. It's called Apanasana. And so when I say to make Shavasana possible, I mean, you were doing some raising of energy there, right? So rooting to rise. And so now we want to make sure that the doshas agree to Shavasana. So bring your knees to your chest, relax the lower belly, release your shoulder blades, your shoulders. your upper arms. Relax the weight of your head. Allow the breath to slow down and to smooth out. When you sense that your mind and your face and your head have relaxed back to the floor, then we're going to stretch out for Shavasana. I just did a magic blanket trick. If you didn't see it, you'll have to watch the video again. It's a simple magic blanket trick for yoga teachers. Let's turn the palms face up and take off your glasses. Imagine your body getting heavier with relaxation and the mind getting more still to allow for the relaxation. So there's no part of the mind that gets to hijack you away. Allow your body to do really amazing things inside right now. It's not only lymph and circulation, digestion, all the organs, but also the subtle body. The nadis are being cleansed. Your doshas brought back into balance. The vayus working harmoniously together. Allow yourself to remain still so your body is able to fully take care of you. this inner intelligence, not just the muscles and the bones, but the consciousness of the body itself. Allow your mind to remain still, the body deeply relaxed. The breath may become very subtle. You can once again connect to the inner Ananda, the indwelling self. The practice of yoga is more about remembering, not creating that inner self. It's already welcoming you back home. Wiggle the toes, wiggle the fingers, bend your knee, roll to your side. Turn to sitting. You take your seat, make it comfortable, and give just the amount of support that you actually need. The blanket I'm sitting on is really right behind my sitting bones. So my sitting bones are actually on the floor, and then the blanket is right behind, like scooted under the two sitting bones. You don't have to mimic that. You just use minimal support so you're closer to the ground, but use the support that you need. As you come to your seat for meditation, this is the crowning jewel of your yoga practice. This is really why we're here, is to help the physical body, the breath body, the sensory body, to grant us permission to concentrate and then to slide into meditation. So that is asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, meditation. May your Vata dosha be relatively still, giving you the clarity and spaciousness of mind. And Kapha dosha, enough energy for you to remain seated and upright and present. Pitta dosha, also in a balanced way, can offer the light through which we're reflecting. Please raise your hands to your heart. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnata Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. So may your doshas be balanced, may your mind be clear, may your heart be open, and may we not forget that most indwelling suchness that we are and that all others also are, even if at times their behavior and or ours is not reflecting that inner suchness. May we not forget that. The practice of not forgetting is called smriti, remembrance. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me and with the community. If you found this practice to be helpful, please don't forget to hit the like button. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, please do that too. It does help us to keep producing content and offering programs and classes for you. If you have questions or comments, please do leave those down below the video. I'd be glad to hear from you, and we'll make an effort to come back to your comments. If this kind of practice intrigues you and you'd like to know more about how to integrate the doshas and the vayus and how we sequence yoga classes, consider joining us for a yoga teacher training program. You can see the URL for that right here on the screen. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so much.